All right, so hello everyone. My name is Hirusheekesan, and I'm here to present my research, which is titled as Developing a Digitally Enhanced System for Improving Information Management of Modern Methods of Construction in Australia. So, as Hank said, I'm a PhD candidate from University of Adelaide, and my supervisors are Professor Jin and Dr. Daniel. Yeah, and introduction about myself. I did my BSc in civil engineering, minor specialization in structural engineering from University of Sri Jayawardenepura, Sri Lanka. And I did my master's by research where I developed a blockchain network that could be integrated with the unsolicited proposals of public-private partnership projects in Sri Lanka. And now I'm here for my PhD. Even though it's technically in architecture, I'll be working pretty much on the management of modern methods of construction, and I'll be looking to integrate digital technologies with them. So I'm pretty much in the 6th month of my PhD. So please go easy on me. And also, I so far have defined the aim, objectives, and a little bit of the tentative research methods that I'll be using for my study, some of which I'll be sharing with you today. So before really going into my presentation, I would like to have your attention on some of these news articles that I have taken from some of the most popular news websites in Australia, across the Australia. And as you can see here, the buzzword here is modern methods of construction. And also a couple of extracts that I have taken from the recent budget from the federal government. And we can see that the federal government is investing almost $174 million to accelerate the uptake of modern methods of construction in Australia. So what are modern methods of construction? So modern methods of construction is a term coined by the UK government to denote any type of innovation that is done in respect to their construction industry. So that could be modular construction, prefabrication, both-site manufacturing, or even the digital technologies that we develop to plan and execute the construction projects. So why MMCs? So there are empirical studies that really prove that MMCs reduce the time for construction projects by 50%, cost by approximately 30%, waste by more than 50%, and increases stakeholder satisfaction by 25%, and of course, reducing embodied carbon by 34%. So for me, numbers, they really lie. So which means, for me, I assume that MMCs, they have the potential to address several sustainability and productivity challenges that the construction industry is facing for the past few decades. So despite all of these, the MMC projects are struggling globally, and that could be attributed to several types of challenges as I identified from my literature review. So the first and foremost is the information management related challenges. So MMC projects, they operate under the assumption of just-in-time delivery of construction elements. And that really goes hand in hand with the seamless communication of information across different stakeholders involved in different project life cycles of a MMC project. And precisely, that is where the construction industry is struggling for the past few years. So when that goes off the rail, so does the success rate of MMC projects. And also there are some other challenges, such as the structural engineering and assembly limitations, the lack of market acceptance, which really leads to the lack of economies of scale for the MMC projects. But in my study, I'll be mainly focusing on tackling the information management related challenge of MMC project. So how do we address all of these? So as pretty much everyone who presented before me, I'm also trying to use digital technologies to address some of the solutions that I identified from my literature review. So from my preliminary literature review and systematic literature review I did over the past sort of hectic 6 months, I came across a few research gaps that I'll be focusing on addressing over the course of my PhD. So the first one is there's a lack of research on the integration of digital technologies with modern methods of construction. So there are studies that talks about integrating digital technologies with one type of MMC, but there's no a study that really talks about integrating digital technology across the broader spectrum of MMC. And also, despite the multi-million-dollar push by the government, there's no established definition or guideline framework for MMCs in Australia. So we use and adopt the UK definition, but we don't have a customized or tailor-made definition for the Australian context. And also, there's a lack of research on addressing information management challenges in modern methods of construction projects across different life cycle phases. So of course, there are studies that try to address some of the information management challenges I presented earlier at one particular type of project lifecycle, but there's no really study that talks about addressing information management challenges across different project lifecycle phases involving multiple stakeholders. And also, I realized from one of the partner workshops we had with the industry partners in Akmanu that this is precisely where the industries are also struggling to adopt MMCs successfully. So this being a need in the academia, as well as the need of the hour for the industry, I really wanted to take up as one of the core themes of my PhD research. So based on all of these, I came up with the aim, objectives, and the research method that I'm hoping to follow. So the first objective I defined based from the first research gap is to examine the key concepts of MMCs, of course, and also to identify the state of the art of adopting digital technologies with them. So in my preliminary interviews and some of the personal interaction I had with the industry people, I realized that there's a sort of disparity across states on the type of MMCs that we use and the type of digital technologies that we use. So I would really like to examine the state of the art of adopting MMCs and the digital technologies across the multiple states and also in the Australian context, and also to construct a stakeholder-informed definition for MMC in Australian context. So I've already defined a preliminary definition, and I'm really looking forward to fine-tune it towards the Australian context by using a Delphi survey with the experts. And then I want to identify the challenges of information management in MMC for Australian A, E, and C companies. So for which I'll be working on case studies with each architecture, engineering, and construction firms, focusing on their ongoing MMC projects to identify their information management challenges specific to the perspective of A, E, and C companies. And then based on this, I hoping to develop a multi-criteria decision-making model. And based on that multi-criteria decision-making model, I would like to identify the most critical solution, a critical problem, critical common information management problem across A, E, and C companies, and also to find the most optimum solution, optimum digital solution that could be used to address the critical challenge. So that multi-criteria decision-making model would probably be focusing on cost, sustainability, usability, and of course, my personal favorite, minimal disruption. And then finally, I will develop and validate a system to address the challenges using digital technologies. So this system at this point of time could either be a tool or a software plugin, or it could be a structured practical guidance framework. But the nature of this system would really depend on the case studies and multi-criteria decision-making model that I'll be developing pretty much later at the stage of my PhD. So maybe by next symposium, I'll be able to get a sense of what this system is going to be, and probably I can give you a better idea on what that is. So as the immediate way forward, case studies with A, E, and C companies. And I already started a case study with Cox Architecture a couple of weeks ago. And from there onwards, I'm hoping to snowball towards the engineering and construction companies, and also the Delphi survey to define MMCs in the Australian context, and to finally to the semi-structured interviews to identify the state of the art of adopting digital technologies with MMCs in Australia. And hopefully, if everything goes according to the plan, which never does, the contribution I would be contributing to my PhD, a consolidated definition for MMCs in the Australian context, and also a digitally enhanced information management system for Australian MMC projects that could be used by hopefully all A, E, and C pillars. And finally, a multi-criteria decision-making model that could be used by the AEC company in Australia to assess their digital solution for MMCs. And yeah, with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. I'm looking forward to your questions and feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Who wants to start?
Thank you for that. It's a really fun project, actually. I think that could be. I'm looking forward to the results of that because I think it can have a big impact. I think looking at what you presented, I think there's a need to zoom in a little bit and actually be a bit more precise on some areas. You know, when you talk about MMC, you're talking about all 7 areas of MMC, or are you talking about 1 or 2?
Yeah.
You know, what's your aim with that? I appreciate that you're already talking to industry partners and Cox. That's great. But I think you'll find that, you know, your whole information management process needs to be placed in the life cycle of a project, from design through to construction, as is the nature of information management. And on that note, look at ISO 19650, because that will also play a big role. But the thing is that the context of the industry at the moment is that when it comes to MMC, it's really in the gift of the construction companies, in the sea of AEC.
Yeah.
Like, we as architects and our collaborators and engineers, we can, with the best will in the world, we can say this building is designed to make the most of MMC. It is then absolutely up to the contractor to tell us that we're talking shit and then to go and do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Sorry for swearing. But you know, it's very much that slash and burn point, which is traditional architecture at the moment, and you know that is changing. But I think your information management process needs to, you know, take into account existing traditional processes, which is we work on the design, we hand over to the contractor, they throw everything in the bin and they redraw it all and they do everything the way they want to do it.
Yeah.
Or there's more, you know, contemporary DFMA practices, which we're seeing more and more of, but they're still not, I'd say, the most successful things in the world, where contractors are, you know, in bed with the architects and engineers at a much more earlier stage. That, I think, is going to be your friend, but I think you still need to look at that more traditional practice as well, and how you can, you know, facilitate that, because actually that's where the real potential of this process in your thesis is that actually you could open the door to making MMC much more palatable. Yeah. And I think that's hugely exciting, because it is still seen as a bit of a, oh, that's nice. However, we're still going to do it the same way we've done it for 20 years. So I think just bear that in mind, that you're going to be operating on two different categories of project. Yeah.
Maybe to support what Andy's saying, the case studies, which you haven't necessarily, we've started it in terms of, we've agreed that it's going to start. But the MMC projects that we have at Cox are outliers in that the integrator, the builder, the fabricator, and the owner of the building are all the same company. Okay. And it's getting to the point where that particular company may even, this is just a prediction, that they are expanding, they're trying to grow, that they may even take on the architecture side of it as well. And that's the only opportunity we've got of working with prefabricated in prefabricated buildings in Australia, is it with someone who wants to own a prefabricated building. So to support what Andy's talking about, it may even be worth looking at some of the prefabricated case studies that have fallen apart. Rather than looking for ones that have been successful. Because I can give you some.
And I'm really happy to see that.
Thanks. Look, this is a large and complex problem, and I think you're aiming to solve one part of it, which is great, but you know, there are so many barriers that are stopping the adoption. And you can go and talk to Hutchinson's in Queensland, because they do a lot of MMC. Whether it's technically the correct definition of MMC, I'm not entirely sure, but they've been building modular buildings for a while and putting them into remote locations, and it does stack up in certain circumstances. So, but that's all ahead of you, and good luck with that endeavour. So, I think having this research is certainly going to be very valuable, but keep in mind that there's a broader set of barriers to why it's not being adopted.
Thank you.
Have you touched base with the construction
Not yet.
CRC?
Not yet. I'm just 6 months into my PhD.
No,
so
I think that should be high on your priority.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I don't know a lot about them, but I think there's going to be a lot of overlap.
Okay.
It would save a lot of time.
Okay. Thank you. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I want to talk about the industry, AEC,
Yep.
architecture and engineering and construction, and I want to add on facility or asset management.
Okay.
You will find in industry, the architects, like we have industry partners here, majority, they are a big fan of digital technologies and BIM. If you go engineer, you find it less, but if you go to construction, you're not gonna find the encouragement. Go asset management, they fight it.
Yeah.
So this could be in consideration when you're collecting your data.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's quite valuable.
A couple of tips. If you've got nothing on Friday, go to Muscat. There's the Homes New South Wales Building 4.0 CRC showcase about Homes New South Wales MMC strategy. I think that's what you have been referring to earlier, tapping into that. So between 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock, it's a public event, so it's easy to access. Highly recommended. The other one, I just want to highlight your second goal definition of MMC in Australian context. You might be slightly late on that because it's happening as we speak. At a national level. So again, might be interesting to follow the discussion happening around the MMC, and it would take a bit workload of your long list because it's quite a substantial topic.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So PhD's done after half a year. Good. Are there any other questions? Yeah. All right, then. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.